Welcome to Motivational Mondays. This is Fred Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMtrading. And today we're going to be discussing emotional regulation. But before we start, make sure to smash the like button. And if you find value in this video, please do share with friends and family. So, emotional regulation. We're going to go through a story, and then we're going to discuss the movie, and then we're going to apply it. So here we go. The story goes is on January 15th of 2009, a friend of mine was on the Hudson River of Manhattan, overlooking New Jersey. Now, this is an area of body. It's just basically just a river that runs right through Manhattan on one side and New Jersey on the other side. And generally, in this area, you have various tunnels that go underneath the water. You also have bridges. You also have ferries that go back and forth, commuting people from work back and forth, right? So this is happening in the morning, and he sees this plane come to land. Now remember, this is within 10 years, 2009. It's within 10 years of September 11th. So initially they thought it was a terrorist attack. And what had happened was, it wasn't. And he sees this plane land on the Hudson. He sees the ferries go to them. People disembark. People get out, and they make it alive. Everybody lived on this crash. Now, generally, that's not the case when you have a plane crash. But what had happened was that as this plane took off from LaGuardia, which is coming from Queens, which is one of the boroughs, it's very close to Manhattan. It's about 5-6 miles from Manhattan. It took off, and as it took off, it hit birds. And birds went through the engines, and the engines completely shut down and broke. And so here's this plane flying on a very low altitude with not a lot of thrust and with very high buildings in this area. Now, if anybody's ever been to New York in this tri-state area, especially the 5 boroughs, there's a lot of high buildings, right? Obviously Manhattan, but some of the other boroughs also, Bronx and Queens, also have very high buildings, and also part of New Jersey do in that area. So here's this dilemma that's this pilot. His name was Sully Sullenberger. Now, he became a national hero after this, but here's his dilemma. He doesn't have enough altitude to carry him back to one of the area airports because he's afraid he's going to hit one of the buildings. So he makes a last ditch to go and land onto the Hudson River. Now, he makes it, and everybody lives. That's the story. The movie discusses the trial that followed, because they kind of thought maybe he could have made it back, and his license should have been revoked, and all kinds of stuff. So the movie really just focused on the trial of Sully, and they did all kind of tests to see, and all kinds of possibilities of what could have done. They put it into a computer simulation, and his choice was the best choice possible, and he was rewarded. And obviously he became a national hero definitely after that. And for sure, there were some skeptics out there, because how often does such a thing happen? And it was exceedingly anxious, to be in such a situation. And here, it was the right pilot at the right time, doing the right thing. Now, this is the point that is really important. This pilot was a senior pilot, over 40 years of experience, and someone that came in and came out doing the same thing. And this is really very important, because this is the point where we could apply to real life. When we have a system that we can apply, a checklist every single day that we bring in and bring out, bring in and bring out, and do the same things, we gain something called experience. Now, I've said this many times, and I've expressed this many times. I don't know if I've expressed it with you, but there's a difference between smart and being wise. Not necessarily someone who's smart is wise, and not necessarily someone who's wise is smart. But hear this out, okay? What does being smart mean? Being smart means being intelligent, having information and being able to access it very quickly, and being to assess it very quickly. Wisdom is acquired experience. It's something that we acquire over time, not something that is just intelligence. And that, I think, you can compensate for many things in intelligence with wisdom, because you've been there and you've seen the things happen again and again. You've been stimulated by certain things that have been outside of you again and again, so you know how to respond to them, right? It's like you're put in that position, your spouse, your friend, whoever it is, puts you in a certain position and say, dang it, they got me. But next time, they're not going to get me. because I know I'm going to be ready for it, right? Kids throwing a tantrum, things flying, you come into the house and everything's going crazy, right? If you know how to anticipate, if you've said, hey, I've been here before, I know how I'm going to react to this. And Sully just had a checklist of everything, all the possibilities he could have done, and he basically would have been successful even if he would have crashed. And hear me out, because he followed his checklist. That was the success. The outcome was not part of the success. The outcome was a outcome, right? It was the outcome of all those checklists of things that he had to do. And this is what the key is in life. If you follow the checklist, the outcome will come. The success will come. But you got to follow the checklist on a regular basis. And you got to change it every so often. But you got to follow it. And you got to keep on doing it and keep on doing it. And like that, you acquire experience, wisdom, control, and confidence. With that, I leave you with having a wonderful week. Thank you, everybody.